Hey guys, so I'm going to be redoing my gun wall here that's behind me. This is a smaller of my two gun walls. You don't see this wall too often because I typically film with this wall over here as the backdrop. So the problem that I'm running into with this wall is that I can't fit too many guns on there because of the way I just overdid the pegboard supports. I can't fit too many guns. Right now there's 8 on the wall. I would like for there to be a lot more than that, so I'm going to change it up with a different style rack system. So instead of having the guns on the wall horizontally, I'm going to change it up and have them across the wall vertically. I should be able to have about 18 guns with the new method, so I'm hoping that turns out well, and that's what I'm going to share with you guys today. See if that's something maybe you're into, if you want to do it. So I really like the way it turned out. I was a little skeptical on the, on this vertical sort of gun rack placement versus, the horizontal displays. But I think it looks pretty good. I still have some horizontal wall space, a pretty nice little transition area to the this vertical rack. So I like this. I like the additional space that it gives me. I like that I now have my bookshelf over here next to my chair, so I can very easily just grab whatever book that I want to read. So the boards I used for this is a 1x10 and a 1x6 up top. The 1x10s were real easy to put in because they're just, I didn't cut them or anything. Just sanded them, threw them up, painted them. Wasn't pretty bad. However, this guy, this was a lot harder than I thought it would be. So these little indentations where the rifles go into, my friend Michael Sinker, he actually told me about how you just use a drill to drill these out. So I was planning on using a jigsaw to kind of just, draw out a little oval and cut it out. Instead, I used a 3-inch hole drill to drill out these holes, and I measured 1/2 inch from the edge and then exactly 4 inches apart. because 4 inches apart gives these rifles enough space in between for rifles with these long straight bolts here. If you had nothing but turn down bolts like the K98Ks, it's not that big of a deal. You could probably get them a little bit tighter if you needed to, but 4 inches works out good for me. So then after I drilled the holes, I used a pipe insulation. It's a rubber pipe insulation. I think it's meant for AC units. And I sort of just cut it in slices and glued it into place. I think I used a tape to kind of hold it while the glue was being held on. That whole process, it sounds easy, but you have to do it 18 times, and it turns into a whole afternoon. So another problem I ran into with these recesses is that the rifles, they weren't sitting in deep enough for them to be really secure. So my friend Jared Billy, he told me about these little 10-inch little bungee straps that you can get to hold these rifles in. So I add a little screw underneath the rack, and then just wrap these little bungee cords around, and they hold their rifles in really nice and secured. They kind of keep them from just rotating around, and if someone is just walking by or whatever, you can't just hit one of these and knock it off. It's a really good system. The only thing is they're kind of bright, they stand out. So I ordered some RIT black dye, so I'm going to dye all these ties black. That way they won't really stand out as much. So I'm planning on adding a couple more things to the wall, but I think I'm about 95% done with this thing. If you guys have any ideas of anything that I can add to this, let me know in the comments. I read all those comments, and like I said, a few of these ideas I got from other people. So this isn't like any of my original ideas. So let me know what you think. I read all the comments. Almost forgot. The top rack, this is 32 inches from the base here. I think 32 inches is about the sweet spot that you want for the space between these, because it's tall enough that it can fit these long rifles like this Gewehr 98. It can fit that, but it's also short enough that it can fit carbines like this Berthier carbine. These fit in here just fine, just like that, you can see. So it's adequate for both carbines, short carbines, and long rifles. If you have any suggestions or anything for my gun wall or anything to do in the future to this thing, just let me know your ideas. I read all the comments on all my videos. I'm still a small enough channel that I read all the comments. So let me know what you think, and I'll see you next time.